In the fast-paced world of football, Real Madrid is always seen as a giant, adorned with history and success. Even though they are having a lot of success, there is a strange trend where some players don't want to wear the famous white shirt. Let's figure out the mystery and look into the strong reasons why some football stars choose not to play at the Santiago Bernabeu when the stadium is full of great players. Let's get into it. The air in the holy halls of Real Madrid is filled with the sounds of an unmatched history. But there is a huge responsibility that comes with wearing the famous white shirt. The Santiago Bernabeu, which is known as the Heaven of Dreams, has very high standards for its players. As soon as their contracts are signed, these players are put under a harsh light. The constant attention from fans, the media, and the club's leaders is like a double-edged sword. It can either make heroes or break dreams. The weight of expectation can be suffocating, making people pause and think about whether they are ready to handle the constant pressure that comes with trying to succeed at this global football institution. For some, the fear of living up to the huge standards that come with playing for Real Madrid may be stronger than the thrill of glory. Real Madrid's Galactico policy, an interesting part of the club's long and illustrious past, is all about finding football superstars who are more than just great at the beautiful game. Not only are these big-name signings expected to shine on the field, but they are also expected to have a divine aura off of it. But there is a cost to the fame and honor that come with being a Galactico. The Santiago Bernabeu is always getting new top-level players, which makes the battle for starting spots very tough. Some players, especially those in their prime who want to play a lot, might be hesitant to join Real Madrid. The draw of the famous white jersey is up against the practicality of knowing you'll be in the starting next one. While there's no doubt that the Galactico policy has helped raise the club's image around the world, it can also be bad for players who don't want to be seen as less important than other famous footballers. There is some uncertainty in the Galactico-filled environment at Real Madrid for people who want both prestige and a consistent presence in the field. Some players think carefully about their choices before committing to the demanding and competitive environment of Los Blancos. They want to be a part of a team with a lot of history, but they also want to play. Well, Real Madrid has had a lot of different coaches in recent years, and each one has left their mark on the team. A lot of changes happen in the coaching staff all the time, which can make players feel uneasy. Every time a new manager comes in, a new set of tactical ideas and preferences are brought in. This makes it so that players always have to change. This constant uncertainty can make players hesitant to commit to a club where their future depends on the whims of the next coach, whom they don't know much about. Every time a manager changes, players feel like they have to prove themselves all over again. This adds to the uncertainty that affects their decisions and takes away from the stability that athletes usually look for in their professional jobs. Real Madrid isn't just a football club, it's a rich part of Spanish culture that's woven into the big yarn of football. But for players who want to make the jump into the center of this football empire, the trip goes beyond the pitch. There's a lot more to Real Madrid than just the perfect grass at the Santiago Bernabeu. It pulls players into the colorful tapestry of life in Spain, where getting used to a new culture, language, and way of life is an important part of the trip. For people who are used to the comforts of their home country or the rhythms of other European teams, figuring out how to live in Spain will be impossible. The problem isn't just language. Players have to deal with a lot of different cultural issues. From the passionate fervor of Madridistas to the delicious treats of Spanish food, the change is complex. The demands on and off the pitch go beyond football skills. They require a deep understanding of the daily rhythms and ways of life in a country with a long history of football. Some people have to choose between the draw of the famous white jersey and the challenges of starting a whole new life. Well, let's talk about ego in the changing room. Real Madrid's locker room is filled with the sounds of victory, but it's also home to football superstars with huge egos, which makes it a very difficult place to work. With so many star players, each used to being in the spotlight, it's hard for managers to find a balance between what each player wants and what the team expects from them. There may be conflicts and power battles going on below the surface in this group of famous people, where egos are competing for attention and control. The coaching team has a tough job not only with strategy, but also with keeping the peace among a group of strong personalities. Players who are thinking about moving to Real Madrid might be wary of the problems that could arise in the dressing room, where everyone's ego is as big as the famous white shirt they wear. When someone wants to join a club with a lot of history and stars, they have to think about how hard it might be to fit in with the other people there, where egos are like stars in the sky, demanding their own space and attention. The media's scrutiny and what people expect. Real Madrid is more than just a football club. It's a worldwide phenomenon that's always in the news. The media's obsession with Real Madrid is unmatched. They look at every detail, on and off the pitch, with a level of detail that touches people all over the world. It can be good and bad for players who are thinking about moving to Santiago Bernabeu to be placed under such scrutiny. Every action makes the news, and devoted fans and constantly watching media pay close attention to every performance. Although there is no denying the appeal of wearing the famous white jersey, some players may choose to play for teams where the media attention is not as intense. These players want a place that is quieter and not as closely watched. This lets them focus on their skills without having to worry about what other people think or the media's constant eye. So here are some financial things to think about. Real Madrid is without a doubt a footballing giant, and its immense wealth shows how important it is around the world. Even for such a fancy club, though, money worries are important, especially now that the COVID-19 outbreak is over. Because of the effects on the economy, football teams of all sizes have had to be more careful about how much they spend. It's hard to deny the appeal of wearing the famous white shirt and being a part of Real Madrid's grandeur, but some players may choose to be more practical. For some, the idea of leaving Real Madrid to play for teams that pay well without having to worry about meeting the financial expectations of Real Madrid may be appealing. Players can choose to be financially stable without hurting their ability to compete in football if they live in a society that values fiscal responsibility. Even though La Liga is one of the best teams in the world, there has been more competition in it recently. It's getting harder for players who want to move to Real Madrid now that teams like Atletico Madrid and Barcelona are becoming more popular again. Some people may want to join clubs where they think it will be easier to get to the top level in their own country. There's no denying Real Madrid's appeal, and for many players, putting on the famous white shirt is the highlight of their career. The things listed above, on the other hand, show the difficulties that make some players think twice before joining the prestigious club. As football changes, so will the factors that affect players' choices. Real Madrid needs to deal with these issues to keep being a football giant. When it comes to sports, Real Madrid has an undeniable pull. Still, the problems players have to deal with, from intense attention to financial stress, show how complicated the story is behind the glamour. Watch more videos and read more thoughts about football. This is where your trip begins. That's it for today's video. If you like this video, make sure to like it and hit the subscribe button.